Okay. Cool. So there was some really, really good discussion in the chat about the ending to the last chapter and Linda's hike and her emotional state and how valid and understandable it is. And I totally agree with all of that. This sort of I empathize with this sort of like you can get angry because of the situation, and it doesn't necessarily say that Linda is angry at anyone. She's just sort of mad. I get that. I think that Vin Fernalis in the chat totally on point. Saying it makes me sad that Linda got punished narratively for making a cool choice for herself, and that's exactly where I'm coming from. I felt like the resolution of that story wasn't like Linda gets. I mean, yes, she didn't get what she wanted, but I felt like she made the most of it, and she discovered an opportunity to do something. And she still got punished for it in a like random way. Anyway, let's go back to the novelist. Catching up. When Tommy continued to struggle with something probably, well, it's summer. Why would it be school related? Okay, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to avoid people until I read some of these notes. Mr. and Mrs. Kaplan, I want to stress that it is perfectly normal for some children to fall behind in a specific area. Tommy may be struggling with reading comprehension, but his verbal and visual abilities are excellent. That said, he won't catch up on his own. He will need support from both of you. I recommend that you do the attached exercises with Tommy every weekday morning for 1 or 2 hours. He'll be unable to focus exclusively on these for 2 straight hours, so you'll need to take intermittent breaks, but use your judgment and stay with it as long as you feel he can stay engaged. I suggest that you do your sessions in the morning before he tires himself out and becomes distracted. I feel confident that with a supportive environment and dedicated exercise, he will catch up to the other children in his class. Please be in touch if you have any questions. Dr. Donald Samuels. Okay, I have some questions. Can I get in touch with Dr. Donald Samuels? Here are my questions. Already, I feel like this has just set up sort of what the nature of the crisis for this episode is going to be. And my first question is, can Linda do this? Not that Dan shouldn't be involved in Tommy's education and like this kind of thing, but he has a job that is the family is apparently depending on to like financially. Linda doesn't, and as much as I support her in her sort of artistic work, she doesn't appear to be making any money off of it. So, I mean, is this? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's find out what the rest of the stuff happens. What's going on? I wonder if this is how I'm supposed to. I've been very, very cautious about looking at anything until I know where everybody is. But the game has actually been very forgiving to me about getting caught. And specifically, it seems to have established a pattern where I start in this room alone and I have to go searching for people before I find them. I feel very insecure about that because there's nothing mechanically or narratively that suggests that has to be the case. It's only sort of the pattern of it and my sort of intuition of the intention that I'm sort of realizing that that's the case, and that maybe it's actually very common for there to be something in this room, even on this table, that explains the basic premise for the week, for the chapter, that I'm expected to see and like look at before I do anything else. But of course, this is the first time that I've actually done that, because I am terrified of leaving these lights when I don't know where people are. The game has like definitely made it narratively clear that that's a bad thing, even if there don't seem to be. Oh my god, I can't even use. I mean, I guess I couldn't. Yes, I can't use that light. I knew I couldn't use that light. No, these have changed again. I can't use that light either. What the hell? Oh, Jesus Christ. What, how do I... Oh my god, I can't use any of the lights. Interesting. It's cool to see how they do progressively more difficult level design just by turning on and off the nodes of this network.
We barely talked yesterday.
Wow, you're right. I guess we've just been so busy.
I guess we've just been so busy. Really? You're living in a house in the middle of nowhere. All of your hobbies involve being in the house.
So much for a choco. I wish I hadn't done so much research to find sites and trails, because now I keep catching myself daydreaming about them instead of working. I still need to get out of the house. I've done the Ridge Trail probably 15 times now. It hardly seems worth it anymore. Finding new spots is half the point. I guess tomorrow I'll check in town and see if there's a local guidebook or ranger office. Maybe there's something I haven't found yet. Something nearby is still better than nothing.
Yeah, okay. I have a little bit of difficulty relating to that because I enjoy hiking for different reasons, I think. But yeah, that's rough. If that's, that's what she wanted. She didn't get what she wanted. That's the game, though. This is a game about making tough choices and not being able to leave the fucking living room. God damn it. Ah! Okay, so I think that's a warning. That's a soft they saw me. I don't think that it prevents me from doing anything. But I don't actually know what it feels like when they do catch me, so who knows? I'm still a little anxious about that.
Honey, listen to me. You are smart.
Will it make me smarter?
Poor Tommy. It is hard to be a child. There should be a drawing somewhere. Yes, here we go. Status quo. Yeah, because I chose the Tommy compromise, so I guess that doesn't move the needle at all. It doesn't go up or down. Alright, what happened to Dan? I'm gonna have to use the flickering more.
Come on. Really?
I think tactical flickering is probably the answer.
I could tell Linda and Tommy were disappointed, but I wouldn't have been any fun on vacation anyway. Too stressed about getting to the finish line. I did try to have a little fun with the bonfire, which could have been described as roaring, For a good 30-minute period, anyway. Getting out of the house turned out to be a good idea, too. Spending the night on the beach reminded me of a church retreat we did back in 7th grade. The smell of the bonfire gave me such a strong memory of a crush I had on Jenny something. Or was it Jennifer? I can't remember. But I do remember those flushed schoolboy emotions. I think I can use those for the scene at the dance.
Okay. He's drawing a strong relationship between creative inspiration and youth, and specifically school. I don't know if that's coincidental.
I shouldn't have snapped. I just...
Whoa.
Okay, so they're not talking, and when they're talking, he's snapping at her. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Now I'm gonna find.
Oh, never mind.
What they want. What do they want? Oh my god! I still can't get out of here. Where'd Tommy go? I'm just gonna get over here before he comes up the stairs. Lonnie learns letters, age 4 to 6, 12 chapters of reading comprehension exercises. This is the thing that I should do for Dan, or for Tommy rather. Is he going into his off? No, he's coming in here. But he's gonna go over there.
Time. This would all be easier if I didn't ever have to sleep.
Huh.
Last night after Linda went to bed, I spent some time, there's that word again, trying to make everything fit. I even drew up a little chart. Math is simple. It doesn't work. Technically, I could still get in 8 hours, assuming I don't eat or need to do anything that's not writing. But what about letters, reading, dealing with Paul? Hell, what about doing the dishes or taking out the trash? Not to mention that knocking off for the day isn't like flipping off a switch. It takes time to crawl out of my head and start functioning like a normal person again. And I can't just split it up into smaller chunks. Sometimes it takes an hour of false starts just to get going on anything usable, and stopping just sends the whole process right back to square one. Something's got to give.
What is he doing all day? I mean, like, yeah, that's a list of things that he's doing all day, I guess. But if he can only fit in 8 hours of writing,
Blasting off.
if that's all that he does, I don't. That seems crazy to me. Like that's all that he's doing. That's what he's here for. Okay, I should be looking here.
Barb, sorry it's been so long since I've written. Things have been hectic around here, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get things back on track. I don't really want to get into it, but we're getting pulled in a lot of different directions right now. Nothing hurtful, just competing priorities, I guess. Although those can get worse and worse over time. I mean, Dan and I, before we got up here, you know we'd started to drift. Look at that. I said I didn't want to get into it, and I did anyway. Enough about me. Please tell me you're doing well, and I hope this doesn't stress you out too much. I promise to write a happier letter soon. Yours always, Linda.
Okay. That felt more scene setting than actually suggestive of anything. And I think weekly outing, where? Tuesday movie night, check channel guide, or maybe go into town, family dinner, too old-fashioned, picnic, farmer's market, things that we could do together. Did he see me again? Okay, so she wants to do family dinners. Whoa, Jesus! Okay. Perfect schedule, aka the single unattached writer's guide. That's value laden. 10 to 2, write. 10 to 2, write. 2 to 3, eat, step away. 3 to 7, write. 7 to 8, eat. 8 to 10, decompress, edit, life. Wrenches. Tommy till 11, knock off at 7. Got it. Well, okay, so this lays out very clearly what the issue is. So 10 to 2, that's 4 hours. 3 to 7, that's 4 hours. Okay. So this is he's doing 8 hours of writing. Plus decompressing and editing and having a life from 8 to 10. Plus 12 hours outside of that. I mean, he's not sleeping for 12 hours. So, you know, I mean, okay, whatever. I'm being overly critical of his actual schedule. I understand the point of this. The point of this is that Tommy will take up some of his time, and family dinners will take up some of his time. Still don't have a sense of why Linda can't take point on Tommy's reading. Seems so reasonable. Also,
Hey, Mommy.
are they gonna have like a 5-hour family dinner? I mean, like, he's already kind of knocking off at 7, right? 7 to 8, he's eating dinner, and then 8 to 10, he's mostly decompressing. I guess family dinner is so stressful that it's eating into his decompressing time? I don't know. I feel like there's some internal inconsistency in the specific details of this. New rule, don't disturb me if the door to my office is closed. That's not a bad rule, actually. It's just, okay, so I gotta find more about Linda.
Hey, bud.
Maybe.
Hi, Dad.
Wait, maybe I just need to find Linda, because I found her schedule.
Hey, Mommy.
Whoa! He hates the book. Holy shit, okay. But he also hates being laughed at. Okay.
You don't understand that.
Alright, I want to find Linda before I actually...
I got it.
What am I missing, Linda? Hope we didn't wake Tommy up last night. Were you fighting? Good lord. What else do I need to find?
It was fine.
Alan, this letter might come from out of the blue, but do you remember when you told me about Bobby falling behind on reading? Looks like we're there with Tommy. We knew he was struggling when we came up here, but his teacher gave us a list of books for him to work on over the break and said we should see how he responded to the change in environment. She gave us a few sample readings and told us to keep an eye on how he was grasping the concepts. Tommy still isn't there, and long story short, the pediatrician in town knows a specialist who gave us some exercises to try. They seem pretty straightforward, but I wanted to write and see if you had any tips that helped you guys with Bobby. Damn. Just realized I didn't even ask how you've been. I'm sorry. This stuff is just a lot to think about. Dan.
Okay. So, they've been working on his reading all summer, but he's not improving, so they went to a pediatrician to see if there was a medical reason, and there's not, but the pediatrician happened to know somebody who gave them some recommendations.
Can I see? It's not done yet.
Alright, can I... Yes. Okay, so I feel like both of these family problems take priority over Dan's perfect single man's work schedule. That seems pretty clear to me. I am definitely influenced by, I feel like his ideal single man's work schedule is kind of I don't buy it. And I think that Tommy is the priority in this situation. I'm still not sure why that means Dan needs to...
I don't know.
Like, to take time away from his work every day. Why Linda can't, like, be doing that actively. But I think that supporting Tommy is the most important thing here. And then I think... I don't know if family dinners are the solution to their, like, having loud fights late at night. But the game is presenting that as the solution, and I do think that that's a problem that needs to be solved as well. So... What was Tommy's deal?
And then...
Oh, the book. The book, which is in here. Choose Tommy's resolution for the chapter. Gonna do it. I am reading that as fights. I hope we didn't wake Tommy up last night. I'm reading that as fights because of the level of tension that is sort of in the story otherwise. Out of context, I would definitely read that as they're having sex. They're having loud sex and they don't want to wake up their 12-year-old kid. But that doesn't seem to be what's going on. Okay, I want to find journals. Are there journals? Are there no journals? Ooh. This is the first time there have been no journals. I don't know what to make of that. I'm disappointed. I still don't know enough about my origin to be done with that. What the hell? Seriously. Okay. And then I wanted to choose the dining room table. Oh, there's a journal. More of K. Williams, May 19th, 1952. I have decided and I am sure of my decision. I do not know which is right or wrong, only that my choice is my own. It took 3 days alone, letting whatever calming influences here, for I am sure there is something, guide my thoughts. I thought about Jay, I talked with Jay in my mind, and I know that this is right. I cannot think about the path not taken, only the one ahead. Really? Okay. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. Unless there's another journal around here somewhere, this seems to have been left at a, like, imagine for yourself what the answer is. Like, what actually happened. I'm not a fan of that style. Most of the time. I think it can be done well, I guess. But it's usually not. And I don't know that it is here. Okay, and that's the only journal that I see. So I'm going to select the table. I really honestly feel like this is giving him 7 hours of writing a day instead of 8 hours of writing a day, and if that. Alright. Dan didn't want Tommy to start another school year behind, so he committed to helping the little man for 2 hours every morning. Having both of his parents there helped Tommy's confidence as much as his reading, and their morning practices became an event that they all looked forward to. Okay, so they all did it together, and that's important. That makes sense. Dan couldn't find time to knock off completely at 7 every night, but he agreed to have dinner at the table each night before heading back to work. Linda and Tommy missed him after dinner, with the sound of his typewriter the only sign he was even in the house, but they were glad for the time they did get at the table. That seems totally reasonable to me. All of this seems completely reasonable. Now, Dan, you're going to be a dick about it. Dan couldn't figure out a way to please everyone and still make room for the time and focus he needed to write. He was able to compromise and fit in one unbroken session each day, but for the rest of the day, he worked around his family commitments and tried to make the most of the shorter sessions. The lack of focus came through in his work. Okay. Alright. I think we are moving on to the last chapter. Yeah. I will, I'll return in just a minute and we'll see, I think, the end of The Novelist. Yeah, I'll see you in a minute.